All right, the Salsa Timberjack. Probably a bike you forgot I owned. And honestly, it's a bike I almost forgot I owned. Ooh. Like right when I got this, the Elroy showed up and then the Growler showed up, and I spent all my time just filming those two bikes. And this one's just kind of sat. And it's unfortunate, but we're out here today reviewing it. And if you aren't familiar with my bike, this is the 21 Salsa Timberjack XT 27.5 Plus build. I ride a size large. I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam. People always ask. And this retails for $2,100. I paid full retail for this bike. Salsa doesn't even know I exist. And I have done a couple of small upgrades to it, but we're gonna try to ignore those for this video. I already filmed a whole video going over the specs and the details of this bike, but you can watch that. I bought this bike because of the insane amount of versatility this bike offers. So you can run 27.5-inch wheels and tires up to a 2.8-inch width, 29-inch tires up to a 2.6-inch width. It's got the, oh, hey, sorry. It's got the adjustable chainstay length. I have it in the shortest setting. Always have, probably always will. It's a 420 millimeter chainstay length. But what's cool is the 29-inch wheel still fits, even with the shorter chainstay option. So super cool. An insane amount of mounting points, because this traditionally is kind of more like a bike packing bike, I would say. Like the older model certainly was geared more towards that. And then they gave it a little bit more of a trail bike flair. It's one of those bikes that can do a little bit of everything. It's not going to excel at one type of riding. It's just going to be like a jack of all trades. Oh, it is a quick little bike. Safe to say this bike's pretty cool, but it's got one fatal flaw. And I'll tell you about it in just a second when I catch my breath. And that fatal flaw is the frame. Geometry wise, it's excellent. It feels so good. Like the reach is where I like it. The angles are where I like it. Like I said, the chain stays being short, love it. But man, this frame is stiff. This thing beats you up like that. The fact I'm running a 2.8-inch tire in the rear, it's got cush core in it, pretty low tire pressures, and it still just rattles you. My back is usually in a good amount of pain after riding this bike, and it sucks because everything else about this bike is awesome. Like this stuff, like this fairly smooth single track, it's brilliant. It's snappy. You put the power down, it's nearly instant. There's very little flex in it at all. And if you live somewhere with very smooth flow trails, you will absolutely adore that. But here in Texas, we have a lot of technical rocky trails, and it beats me up. It's something you can't really know about a bike until you buy it or test ride it. And I've ridden other aluminum hardtails, the Rocky Mountain Growler, the Marin San Quentin 1. Both those bikes, I don't remember feeling this sore after riding them, especially on the Growler. That bike, I know I go back to that bike a lot, but I really liked it. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm just bouncing all over the place on some simple trails. Old Timberjack frame was so smooth and very forgiving, and it rode incredibly. I've never ridden the old Timberjack. I just bought this with the hope that Salsa maintained that riding characteristic, but unfortunately, this is tough. And I like riding hardtails. This isn't some guy that only rides full suspensions out here bashing a hardtail. I spend 95% of my rides on hardtails. Oh my God. You can hear the inflections in my voice just riding over this. Ow. I mean, I'm laughing, I'm having a good time regardless. If you're buying a hardtail and you live somewhere in a rocky terrain like this, I would steer clear of this bike. There. That's probably 15 PSI. So we'll try that, see if it feels a little bit better. That wasn't bad, but oh man, I felt it on my back for sure. So yes, despite the frame's stiffness, it's a very fun bike for stuff like this. It's a playful bike, you could say. Ah, there we go. That wasn't bad. I already talked about the fork, and it's like I said, it's fine. It's not gonna blow you away, but it's also not sketchy. What I was getting to was the XT drivetrain. So it's got the XT shifter and derailleur with an SLX cassette. I don't know if you just heard that, but the thing I love about this XT shifter is the double click into the harder gears. And when I first got it, I was like, that's dumb, I don't need that, but I use it all the time now. Like that. When you want to start putting some power down, being able to skip 2 gears is just absolutely incredible. Woo. Brakes, the MT501s, I don't hate them. They're basically a Dior with like, I think 20% less power or something like that. They're a big upgrade over the 400 series Shimano brakes. My biggest gripe with this particular bike was the rotors it came with were, I think, Altis rotors, which are resin pad only. So I did upgrade the rotors. I got metal pads for it. And yeah, stopping performance is fine, it's adequate if you make that upgrade. But you know, that's another $200 upgrade, so you're basically $2,300 into this bike. But let's get a clip of me hitting a jump. Ooh, that was ugly. Oh well. You know what? Not oh well. I'm gonna do that again. There we go. A little cleaner. Speaking of versatility on this bike, I have tried it with 29-inch wheels and as a mullet. I personally prefer 29-inch bikes, but this one, the harshness was amplified on a 2.4-inch tire. And then mullet, you'd think it's the best of both worlds, but I think it's kind of eh. The rear end just feels like it's sagging down too much. You know that feeling when you like your pants and your pants are sagging? I mean, I haven't done that in at least 3 years, but that's kind of what mullet feels like to me. This is one of those bikes, like I mentioned earlier, it's just decent at everything. If you're a pretty skilled rider and you like to do a little bit of everything, yeah, this bike's awesome. And that's also partially its downfall. Bear with me on this. Take my first gen GFC, for example. I think it was decent at just about everything. And I think that makes it a little less special. You may be saying, well, isn't that great? You want a bike that can do a little bit of everything? It's like, well, yes and no. If you're only gonna have one bike, then yeah, you should strive to find a bike that can do a little bit of everything. But if you're a 2-3 bike kind of person, you have a full suspension to do a little bit of everything. You know, your second bike, you kind of want it to be a little more in a niche of some sort. Like the Marin Elroy, for example. No, I would not want to pedal that bike around here, but man, that bike was so good at descending. If I lived somewhere with a lot of elevation and wanted a really aggressive hardtail, I would get that as a second bike and then pedal around my full suspension bike that's good at everything. And we're gonna hit mainline and talk about this bike. Oh, downhill a little. Oh my, oh, Jesus. Yeah, this is so rough on this bike. Oh my God. That is so rough. I'm not even gonna hit this drop. This is one of my favorite drops. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna hit this drop. Oh, that hurt. And it wasn't the bigger drop that even hurt the most. There's just like a little one right after it. There's no forgiveness on this bike. I'm sorry. I want to love it, but it's just way too stiff. That run just is not pleasurable at all on this bike. So I am going to be selling this bike before I move, hopefully, so I don't have to move it. And if you're coming to the Cobra Kyle meetup and sale extravaganza tomorrow, I'm going to be on this bike. So if someone does want to buy it tomorrow, you can ride home with this thing. So hope to see you there tomorrow at McAllister Park. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. will be the meetup and the free stuff, selling stuff. And then at 12 p.m. we'll go out and do a group ride. It'll be a pretty chill ride, so open to all skill levels. It'll just be a fun, chill ride before I move out of San Antonio. So hope to see you all there. If you are interested in buying this bike tomorrow, I just ask that you let me ride it during the group ride, because I'm only bringing one bike and this is it. And then once we're done with the group ride, you can take your new bike home. And if for some reason I blow a tire or something tomorrow while riding it, I'll fix it for you. I'm not gonna sell you a broken bike. So I hope this review was helpful if you're in the market for this bike. Just really assess where you live and what kind of trails you like to ride and what kind of stuff you like to do. I think I say that in every bike review I do because it's true. I'm gonna go ahead and give this bike a Cobra score, but I'm gonna do that at home so I can sit there and think about it. And the Cobra score is a 48 out of 100. It fares pretty well in just about every category, but gets a lower than usual 4 on styling and features due to the harsh ride characteristics of the frame. It's also getting a lower than usual stoke factor because, again, this bike just hurts me too much to want to ride it that often. If you're looking for a decently priced, do-it-all trail hardtail and don't mind a stiff riding frame, then this bike is excellent. But if you want something with a more specific purpose, or have a brittle old body like me, then I would look elsewhere. Thank you so much for watching.